So the project is the Diego Garcia Radome repair project. It's on an island in the Indian Ocean, and we were asked to repair a structure there, concrete structure, that had some custom and unique anchorage points that were deteriorated and needed to be replaced in order for the structure to be retrofit. And so we needed to perform concrete repair as well as the installation of custom designed and fabricated anchorages on top of the concrete ring wall.
Teamwork was essential, and it started in the pre-planning process. You know, when we were here at the genesis of it, just talking about, you know, how do we get our box there? You know, who's shipping it? How are we going to load the box? Do we have to get a crane here? Just, there were a lot of moving parts. It was fluid. Things were changing with COVID. We thought we were going to go through Japan, and we found out we were going to go through Germany via Bahrain. So yeah, the teamwork was essential, just in like all projects, but really important in this project.
All 6 of the team members were intimately involved in what each other was doing and what they were working on, and also needed to rely on each other to perform the scope of work. So it was a very unique process where those 6 individuals had to communicate at a very high level and frequently in order to be able to perform the tasks. You know, short construction window, critical path on the customer's schedule, and relying on the team members to make sure that everybody was participating and doing the tasks that they needed to do. That was really important in regards to teamwork.
We all had to know exactly what everyone was doing almost at all times, especially from a project team standpoint too here in the office. You know, we were part of that teamwork aspect too, knowing that, having them know that we're always here for them.
We had to really get into the details to identify any potential problems and what those solutions would look like. And then, even then, beyond that, we had to prepare for the details that we didn't know about.
There was a lot of teamwork involved in checking your boxes, making sure everything that you needed, you had. So if you didn't take it, you couldn't just pick it up at the store.
There were 0 incidents, 0 injuries, and the team had worked in a way where safety was first, quality was first, and they took care of each other.
Our morning huddle became a group project. It wasn't just the foreman going through the motions. It became everybody looking out for everybody. You know, the saying, "My brother's keeper." They were always looking out for each other. When problems came up, there was an entire crew discussing it to make sure that everybody was on board, and that went from the 2 foremen down to the apprentice that went.
It started with, you know, the scaffolding we were on, talked about the heat, staying hydrated before and after work, because it's a different heat there. You know what I mean? It's constantly warm, you're constantly sweating. We obviously packed every piece of PPE times 10 that we needed. You know, you're in the middle of the Indian Ocean. You never want to get hurt, but you definitely don't want to get hurt there.
So the frontline safety program was really important on this job in relation to the fact that we were so far removed, the office and the project site. And so having a common bond between the 2 groups, where we could rely on each other to hold up our commitments, was really important. And the frontline safety really provided that conduit of communication for us.
They usually had a weekly dinner. We had the foreman take them out to dinner. There were a few restaurants on the island that they were able to go to as a thank you for doing a safe job and looking out for each other and building that teamwork. The engineer also actually kind of benefited with that. They actually took them on a fishing trip one weekend, so they got to go deep sea fishing with the engineer as a good job for safety. You know, the engineer was there every day, and again, was very impressed with our safety culture. and they really enjoyed working with us in the past, and they want to keep working with us in the future because of our commitment to quality and safety.
I think the hardest project challenge was the fact that they were so far away and they were on an island. The communication was the hardest part, but I think we all learned through the process that we all got better at it, and I think we did a good job at that at the end of the day.
Once we got to the island, we had to quarantine for 10 days. So they basically, you fly in, land, they shuffle you into a room, everybody gets like checked in, temperature checked, and then you go right to your room, you get bused to your room, and we were there for 10 days.
Three of the big challenges were the fact that it happened during COVID, or right at the end of COVID when it was starting to open up again. So a lot of the guys didn't want to go because we were traveling around the world during COVID. It made it challenging to find a crew that was willing to go. And then also, with that, every country had a different COVID rule, and the rules were changing every day. Even leading up to they're on their way and things were changing. So we had to kind of be flexible. Being that far away, there was no support from the office. Basically, there was no running to Home Depot for a couple nails we forgot. We had to make sure that everything was packed in the sea can that we sent, because whatever came was all they had. They weren't getting anything else.
We did have an instance where some of the concrete repair material was exhibiting some cracking, and so it was immediately brought up to the engineer of record, and we circled the wagons and tried to figure out what was going on. We brought in technical representatives from the material manufacturer to try and game plan and see what we can do about it. It was very, very much a teamwork environment where we rallied around, okay, we're having this issue. What do we have on site, that we can solve this problem with? We have people, we have tools. What materials do we have to work with, and what do we think the solution can be given our limited resources? And so it worked out really well. We identified the problem, we identified a solution, carried out the solution given the limited resources we had, and it was a real example of that team on site working collaboratively to be able to take on a challenge like that and succeed.
The customer was very happy with what we did. They basically looked to us to provide that quality and a good product. It was one of the reasons we actually got invited on this project. Somebody that had worked with us in the past, they had this problem out there and they couldn't get anybody to go fix it, and they knew our quality, so we were able to provide what they needed and go that long distance and do a quality project that they were happy with.
There was custom fabrication and metal and steel work that needed to be done, and Kansas City's expertise in that regard was extremely helpful and valuable. The concrete repair work that needed to be done, that Detroit is so good at performing, their expertise was just irreplaceable. And then we had a couple of carpenters from our side. It was really exciting to work with crew members from other branches, given that we all had the same goals and culture and all coming from the same place. It was really about, okay, how do we tackle this as a team?
I'd say it's just a great way to have the team celebrate the success of the project as a whole. At the end of the day, we go to work, but if we don't come back home from work safe, then those projects don't matter. The important part is for everyone to get back home to their families, but also to be proud of the quality product that they put out there.
Jeremy Jeffers was a leader in a lot of ways, and to win the Jeremy Jeffers Award just means so much to our branch, as well as to the team members that earned it, because that team really did earn the recognition. They did a fantastic job.